Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news, so let's get to it. The very first thing I want to talk about with you guys is actually an incredibly exciting crowdfunder that is currently going on, and it honestly doesn't have a large target that it hopes to hit to begin producing some larger scale models for the company Dinosaur Creations. If you are familiar with this company, they have a very cool healthy dose of kind of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World inspired models, as well as more scientifically accurate style models. However, they are currently in the process of a crowdfunder that is hoping to release their first large-scale model, which you can see from these images is an unbelievable Mosasaurus versus Pteranodon type of a scene. Obviously, it is a Jurassic World scene that we see before us, and something that personally I would love to see get released and actually see the light of day, because it looks incredible from the sculpt and everything. And I would love to see Dinosaur Creations start with their kind of large scale model line. I would love to see more of those get released. So a crowdfunder like this really needs the help of anybody interested to take part in it and kind of help to get it funded so that it can release. This is actually going to be in 1/10 scale, and it will be 2 feet tall, which is just crazy how awesomely large this is. And again, if this actually can get funded, it will kick off a new line of models for their always growing store of incredible dinosaur and other prehistoric creature models. I've actually been speaking with the creator of Dinosaur Creations recently, and he has a lot of really cool stuff in mind that he is intending on releasing as time goes on. And again, I really want to help Dinosaur Creations out as much as possible and help to get them, noticed a little more with this very cool crowdfunder they currently have going on. And if you actually take part in the crowdfunder, you can get this at half price of the retail price, the planned retail price, or you can actually purchase a cheaper bust version, which is a good bit smaller. But either way, no matter what route you take, as long as you are taking part in this incredible crowdfunder and helping to get this funded, again, you are definitely an enormous help to Dinosaur Creations and helping them get one step closer to this Mosasaurus versus Pteranodon scene actually getting released. So make sure that you check the description, you head on over to that crowdfunder, take part in the crowdfunder, get yourself either this incredible Mosasaurus versus Pteranodon scene, or at the very least a really cool bust. As always, the link will be in the description for you to head on over there, so make sure you check that out and take part in that unbelievable crowdfunder today. And then as far as Rod's random work on Instagram, who by now you probably all know and love from the many times I've promoted his work here on the channel, you could see this image here showing off some of his more recent work, which I have recently done an unboxing of some of his models, actually some of which you see here I believe were included, and he has created now a few more baby dinosaurs, which you can see a Stegosaurus, a baby Brachiosaurus, and a Sauropelta are now included. And when you take a nice closer look at the images that he has provided with me, you can see how insanely beautiful these are, and as well as how highly detailed they are. Again, the Stegosaurus is just beyond cute, and again, very, very nicely detailed as a whole, sporting a beautiful osteoderm-like appearance and all sorts of baby-like features, which I really quite love. And then we have the new Sauropelta, which has just tons and tons of sculpt and detail to it, also looking incredibly adorable overall. You can see the head sculpt is jam-packed with enormous amounts of detail on something so small. And then you have the Brachiosaurus, which as well looks incredibly nicely done, almost actually kind of resembling the baby Secret of the Lost Legend Apatosaurus at the same time as a baby Brachiosaurus. So it's like a nice healthy mix of both, I would say. But again, he is providing us with some of the most beautiful dinosaur models that I think we have currently on the market, especially when it comes to these really cool baby dinosaurs that you see before you. And speaking of Rod's random work, he has also just recently released these Compsognathus that you see right here. He actually has them currently, I believe, on his Etsy store to purchase. So if you are interested in picking up these really cool compies, you can see you get quite a few included, and I believe it's like $40 for the entire set of numerous Compsognathus. Make sure you check out the Etsy store of Rod's random work. I will include a link in the description to that, and head on over there, pick some of these guys up before they sell out, as his work does tend to sell out pretty quickly. But as of creating this video, they were in stock. So again, check the description, head on over there and buy some of these beautiful looking Compsognathus figures that he does currently have up for sale. Also, as far as Karol Rudyk Art goes, I recently promoted the upcoming Carnotaurus release that they have coming. You can see that they have actually printed it out to kind of get an idea of what it will look like, and it looks insanely beautiful. Again, one of the coolest looking Carnotaurus models that I've ever seen. I would love to actually get my hands on one, but a little more information on it. It is in 1/35th scale, and there will only be 200 copies overall, so that's not very many, and the pre-order will actually start in about 2 weeks, so if you are interested in picking up this gorgeous Carnotaurus from Karol Rudyk Art, make sure you check the description, as I will have a link to their Facebook page where you can contact them and inquire further about picking one up before they sell out, because they probably will sell out pretty quickly. Or, as always, if you do not have social media, you can contact me and I will contact them for you. And great news as far as anybody that is a fan of David Krentz, and trust me, if you are unfamiliar with his work, you should be familiar with it, because he is responsible for some of the greatest dinosaur models known to man. And you can see that there is actually a new release from David Krentz, who is actually in cooperation with another company. He is releasing a Zhang Tyrannus and a Sinoceratops kind of in mid-battle. And the scene as a whole is insanely beautiful. You can see a really cool battle taking place before us, a beautiful base. The dinosaurs, as always when it comes to a David Krentz sculpt, are as highly detailed as they honestly could get. You will not find a more highly detailed sculpt probably anywhere than you would from David Krentz. This is actually in 1/20th scale and has a very limited quantity. So make sure you head to the description for this one, as well as I will include a link in the description to where you can contact them to purchase. You can of course contact them on their Facebook, which I will include, or you can send an email to contact them as well, and make sure that you pre-order this incredible model before it sells out, because again, being David Krentz, it will not take long before it sells out, and you won't want to miss something as gorgeous as this. And then as far as PNSO goes, they are officially back to assault our wallets with a brand new figure, and it is Wyatt the Parasaurolophus, and man, does it look beautiful. And one really exciting factor to this figure is that the paint scheme, in my opinion, is quite different than a lot of the more recent paint schemes from the PNSO line, as I've heard quite a few people kind of complain about the paint schemes, and I don't understand why, because honestly I feel like the paint schemes on these PNSO figures have been incredible each and every single time. It's always such a really nice, very realistic and natural looking paint scheme, but somehow managing to look flashy and quite interesting overall, very appealing to the eye every single time PNSO releases a figure, and this is yet another one that's a perfect example of that in my opinion. It's a beautiful paint scheme, very nice and natural on the figure, and now a Parasaurolophus from PNSO is just absolutely awesome. I am super excited about this release. We've been hoping and waiting for this to get unveiled for quite some time, as we did know that it was coming, we just weren't sure when, and it is now officially upon us, and should hopefully be a part of both the Amazon PNSO store and Dan's Dinosaurs in the very near future. And then we have this very interesting image that was actually just sent to me of a Schleich set that I don't really know too much about. I don't know when its release will be or anything honestly about it at all, but what we can see is that there is actually a repainted Giganotosaurus and a repainted Ankylosaurus that is included. I'm not necessarily a fan of either of those, and the playset as a whole I don't really find too interesting either, but I thought maybe some people out there might be interested. I would probably pick up both of those figures, well maybe the Ankylosaurus. I don't know how much I like that green, but the Giganotosaurus, I am kind of a fan of that, even though it doesn't look too Giganotosaurus-like, but I do quite like that figure. I would potentially pick up a repaint of that if it looks pretty nice, but the problem with these sets from Schleich is they usually end up being really expensive, like ridiculously overpriced for what you are actually getting, so odds are it's another one that I'll end up skipping, but I thought it was very interesting and wanted to show you guys. Unfortunately, I don't know the origins of the image, I don't know where it came from, and I can't actually state for sure that this set is even coming, but I thought the image was interesting enough to show you guys. And then as far as Creative Beast Studio and the Beasts of the Mesozoic goes, we have a look at some of the upcoming 1/18th scale Beasts of the Mesozoic Raptors, which we knew these guys were coming, but we weren't quite sure when. Well, he has stated that he's hoping to have them ready in line with Wave 3 of the Ceratopsians this fall. He does not have any pricing quite yet, unfortunately, so we'll just have to kind of wait it out until he has a little more information on the releases as far as price and everything goes, but the releases as far as the first few will actually be the Velociraptor, the Dromaeosaurus, and the Linhoraptor in, again, 1/6 scale colors like the 1/6 scale figures were. So that's really, really awesome. And these figures are insanely small at only 4 inches. They are very small and quite obviously pack a huge punch in the detail department. They are incredibly detailed, probably as detailed as the larger 1/6 scale figures were, but they'll now be more in line with many of the Ceratopsians from the Ceratopsian line, which is super, super awesome if you ask me. Personally, I am definitely going to be picking some of these guys up because I love the Raptor series, the larger Raptor series, and I'm going to definitely love the smaller Raptor series and would really like to have some alternate versions of the figures and also some figures that kind of scale correctly with the Ceratopsians. So, as usual, as more news comes out on these, I will let you guys know. And the final thing I have is actually from Mattel, and it is also in thanks to Collect Jurassic. We have some new kind of budget versions of the Mattel figures coming out, which I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I'm always pretty excited about pretty much anything when it comes to Mattel, but it seems like they've kind of given these a little drop in quality as far as the figures go, as we can now see that there are actually screw holes on the side, as well as the battery compartments, which is definitely a huge downside if you're like me and a fan of the Mattel line. They're kind of taking almost a Hasbro-like approach to these figures, but at the same time, at least the more mainline figures will probably be staying the same. We won't have to worry about screw holes or anything like that. So this is just kind of like an interesting alternative. So I'm not super unhappy about the fact that those areas will be included on these figures. I don't know why they would have put like the battery compartments and stuff on the side as opposed to the underside like they normally do, but I still think that it's really quite interesting that we'll be getting figures like a Carnotaurus and a Tyrannosaurus in kind of like the Rorovore size range, and I'm really wondering where these figures will show up because I would definitely love to get a hold of them and add them to my collection just because they're quite unique, quite different from your normal Mattel figures, and even with the screw holes, I'm still really quite interested in them, and I think each and every one definitely looks really cool overall, and I'm also curious as to whether there will be more of these figures in the future included in the line. Again, when more information on these guys comes out as far as like where they're going to be releasing or anything like that, I'll definitely let you guys know, as I'm going to keep my eyes out for these guys for sure, as again, I'm definitely quite interested in them overall, even if they do include screw holes and battery compartments right there blatantly out in the open. They still definitely look quite interesting. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.